Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Overwatch competitive scrim. Today we've got MetaMorphic versus Breakdown. As always, I am your caster Abacus, and with me is Setka.
How's it going, everybody? Gonna run down these rosters real quick as we wait for the scrim to start. So in the blue, you see MetaMorphic with Noctis, Potion, Poseidon, MarkyMark, Jaydee, and Gatos. And in the red, you see Team Breakdown with Dalca, Weasel, Raizen, Luckiebr, Dogz, and Hugo. This is a 4.4, and these are two top open teams. I think they're actually going into open playoffs here pretty soon, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works out.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I can't wait to see these two teams play. And on Lijiang Tower of all maps. Lijiang Tower is probably my favorite map in the game, I'd say. Just because there's so many places to boop people into pits.
Right, a bit preemptive there. We do have a roster switch before we get into there. Weasel is out and Dexava is in for Breakdown. Yep, I don't know when we're gonna be going in here, but you're gonna start off on control like you normally do, and going down some of these things here. And Team Breakdown favors the Sombra Goats, which you don't really see too often. Gonna be a nice little mix-up in the 3-3 mirror match.
Yeah, absolutely. And we may be seeing Weasel yet. He's staying in as a spectator. So, as I remember yesterday, we did have one person that subbed in for the final map. But for the time being, yeah, it will be interesting to see. And then just for those of you wanting to keep track, the team with Noctis, this is MetaMorphic, and the team with Dalca is Breakdown.
Alright, and we're heading on here. So, I personally like to see Control Tower first, the indoor map, because it's sort of a more neutral one. And we're heading to Gardens.
Always good, always good. Yeah, I'm curious to see what these guys run. I looked up a bit of what MetaMorphic have done in the past, and they seem to prefer like Sombra Goats. So I'm expecting they're probably going to run a Sombra into this point.
Well, I don't know. You know, we don't really see the Sombra because of the giant pillar in the point. That actually blocks EMP because it's line of sight based. So we could maybe try and fight on the courtyard, but you know, you usually see some wacky stuff come out of here. And
that's the other best part. Oh, what we got going on here? Let's see.
Lucio solo support on MetaMorphic.
Oh, there we go.
On Breakdown. Don't see that.
I don't think they're gonna stick with it. I think they're trying to decide which one of these 4 DPS characters are gonna go second healer.
Yeah, as we see when it's gonna go, and we see Team MetaMorphic running the old school goats with the Mora, so the classic 3-3, and they're coming out of the gates, and it looks like Hugo switching over to the Mercy with the Lucio for the speed boost.
That seems a more appropriate solo healing character, and MetaMorphic definitely didn't waste any time pushing their way around, though it does look like Breakdown is going to be the first ones to get on the point.
Yeah, they're hiding in White Room right now. What they're doing is waiting for the point to unlock because they know they can win the point, but Raizen finds Gatos from the brig. That's a very huge part of the 3-3 taken down, so we might see a first cap here coming out of the squad DPS comp.
Well, MetaMorphic's not giving up yet. They're going to push in anyway. They don't want to give this point up that quickly. And actually, they are able to take it.
Yeah, they managed to get the first capture, and all of these kills are going to the side of Breakdown. An early coalescence is going to help this sustain, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
It's really impressive that they were able to pull that off despite the other team getting the first pick off of them. I think it might be part of that they have a lot more healing to work with. I mean, Hugo's trying to solo heal for his team, and with 4 DPS, he's got a lot of work cut out for him.
Yeah, pushing down this, though, it looks like MetaMorphic might finally be getting entryway, but running this quad DPS, it's hard for you to hold the point, and that's shown because even though they have such a massive number advantage, because Breakdown can just tail on this point, they're still winning this fight.
Yeah, no, the DPS is not currently paying off. Oh, but hey, just as I said that, MarkyMark goes down, giving Breakdown the opportunity to push into the point and start taking people out.
Yeah, pushing that right hard is going to be a big help, and the mines from Dalca's minefield are going to actually find Zarya, so we might see a capture finally switching over here.
Yeah, Breakdown going to get some time on the point. I'm sure that they're happy about that. It's going to be interesting to see them hold it, since they only have 1 tank and 1 healer. So they're going to be mostly relying on their DPS to finish off the enemy before the enemy can finish off them.
Yeah, despite controlling and winning that entire fight, it took them 62% to finally capture it. And with how long that fight was, all a lot of check marks about to come on the side for MetaMorphic right now.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are. They are cycling around the side. This is what they tried the first time at the beginning, and it worked for them despite taking first pick. But we do have a bunch of ults coming in to punish them for that, and that is pretty much a full sweep. Oh my gosh.
I mean, if the lights are out, that is as clean as it gets. You know, Somber C6 characters lined up, your Pharah has the barrage, you press Q, and you go back to the spawn room. That being said, a very fast fight with no ults for MetaMorphic. So now that we reset into this, oh my god.
Oh dear.
Okay, Luckiebr just gonna casually find 2 people with a pulse bomb with all of those tanks. So doing a very good job of stalling them here. It's exactly what you need to do with quad DPS. You can't play the point because you're going to lose it. So I really love this aggression coming out of Breakdown.
That's exactly what we were talking about, right? Like, the DPS needs to rely on getting these frags because they don't have that many tanks or healers, and that is exactly what they're doing. And MetaMorphic is just going to try the same thing as before. Going to try pushing through this side, this time without a bunch of ultimates and without a Reinhardt. Oh dear.
Oh my god, Dalca's actually ulting inside of this little room here, zoning off their D.Va. This is amazing zone control. I mean, it's so hard to actually gain that entry, and what we're seeing is MetaMorphic is their refusal to try and use ults to get out of spawn. And they've been camped here for coming up to 90% because of that. You know, if you see an opportunity to grab 2 people and start a kill, you need to take that. Now, because they were too scared to use ults to want to use them on the point, they now have to win this fight right here and right now. And that boop almost catching off Jaydee. That would have been the nail in the coffin for MetaMorphic on Jardins. They don't touch the point!
Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh my god!
For the first time that map, they try something new and they push over bridge, but they didn't push fast enough, I suppose. They absolutely had time to tap that.
They did, but Raizen on that Pharah was being pocketed by Hugo, and it's very easy as a Pharah to hit rockets on the tank, especially when you're damage boosted. So you're doing 125 damage a shot when you're playing so grouped up. So it's a very scary tool, and Raizen played that really safe. Not getting too aggressive and constantly layering the pressure didn't allow them to touch the point. But now as we move to a more closed-in map, you can't run this Pharah. So it's going to be interesting to see if MetaMorphic can take momentum to make this a competitive map.
Yeah, because Breakdown does have to switch up their comp a little bit. We're going for more of a classic Goats strat right here. So we're going to see if they can play Goats as well as they played quadruple DPS. Both teams pushing right onto the point, no questions asked. Pretty classic slugfest for this particular map. Doesn't look like either team has a real advantage here.
MetaMorphic really wants to take this fight as early as they can. Running that Ana, you're lacking in damage, but you're winning and healing. So the longer the fight goes on, the less it goes to your favor, because the Zen Discord is going to do more than the Ana nade can. So after already using that cooldown, if they don't get an advantage in this fight soon, it's going to be going to the way of Breakdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do see that Raizen of Breakdown was... Oh, I was talking about Raizen, but Luckiebr was actually the first one to go down. And it does look like MetaMorphic is going to be the first to take the point, get some capture time on.
Yeah, Reinhardt is the character you least want to die early because he absorbs so much. That's amazing stagger kill onto Raizen. Without that break, they lack that scary shield bash to really push in there. Playing the super aggressive, I wonder if they're going to get spawn camped again.
Yeah, it's MetaMorphic's turn to play a strong defense, and they're going to pop the Brig ult just to give themselves some sustainability. It looks like they're pretty much casting this before the fight happens, because they expect one to happen soon.
Yeah, using that rally is more of a stall tool, because you're not going to push into a team with rally, so they gain 20% off of that alone. Nano coming out of MarkyMark, and the Shatter being negated, but not...
Oh, here come the Shatters, and here comes the D.Va ult. Oh, very good dodge by Dexava of the Breakdown. But it wasn't enough. They weren't able to push in the slightest. And MetaMorphic is going to pull back, but that was a very solid hold and a very convincing defense right there.
Yeah, once you lose your Lucio, that is your disengagement tool. You can't retreat without a speed boost. So MetaMorphic, good job using their speed boost, pushes in, grabs these kills, killing to 60%, and Breakdown hasn't touched the point since the first fight. Yeah,
that's absolutely not good. That being said, they do have the ultimate advantage with 4 ults, and MetaMorphis only has 2. But those ults, one of them is a Zarya, and Zarya is going to push it out. Let's see which one of them manages to pull this off. Oh, here we go. Breakdown's chance. Here it comes.
Yeah, they already have a massive advantage here, so I doubt we really see a contest. Yeah, Jaydee on the D.Va not wanting to get staggered, running away, and that was a very, very clean fight. If you find 2 kills with that Graviton Surge, even though it's not flashy, it does all that it needs, so it gives you the numbers advantage. So now we push into this, we see that Breakdown actually holding a bit further back, choosing to hold the shuttle instead of the door. I personally don't like seeing that because it allows MetaMorphic to really push in and take the space they need to find a Shatter, to find a D.Va Bomb, and now they're going in here, and their hold's going to be much less significant than Breakdown's was.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. They're pushing in, no questions asked. Reinhardt has his ultimate ready to punish anybody still remaining after they finished off the 2 barrier tanks. And this looks like it's going to be a very quick retake on top of an already commanding percentage bank.
Yeah, talking about how you don't want to lose Reinhardt, another big reason is the Reinhardt is the best counter to another Reinhardt Shatter, so once Lucky falls there, MarkyMark's free to clean up the rest of the team, and now with 90%, and they had to push as well at D.Va, one of the most important characters in the GOATS composition, so it's going to be very hard for Breakdown to take this back.
A lot is riding on Breakdown's Reinhardt Shatter right there, he gets 3 of them!
That's the opening. You know, actually switching over to the Hamlet to get back to the point. They're having to burn trance early here, so if Dogz can find his Graviton Surge, we could see a capture. Not if the D.Va Bomb finds 2 characters, though.
That was a great D.Va Bomb. Oh my gosh. They definitely still have a chance, though, here. There are players up on both teams, but there are not enough players. I'm almost positive MetaMorphic is going to take this, regardless of there being 2 tanks currently on the point.
I mean, Dalca's doing a good job of stalling, and now Luckiebr is back. No. Dream is not alive, and we move to a 3rd map on this competitive Lijiang series.
Good try with that old Dexava, but yeah, we're going to go into the tiebreaker round for Lijiang Tower. Both teams showing that they have very good defense. I mean, so, they definitely have good offense too, but they definitely are good at holding an area.
As we go into Night Market here, what we see is Breakdown running more off-meta comps, really throwing MetaMorphic off their game, and Night Market is a map where you see heavy 3-3, but you also see other compositions. So now it's gonna be, you know, MetaMorphic who's showing us they're the better GOATS team versus Breakdown, who are the better off-meta team, to see which one prevails here.
Yeah, and it looks like Breakdown is aware of this, and they're going back to what worked on the first part of the map with the quadruple DPS and a Mercy and a Hammond. So we're gonna have to see. It actually looks like MetaMorphic is going back to change, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably gonna go to a Winston 3-3 here to just deal more space. And okay, now that's interesting. So seeing the 3-3 that MetaMorphic was running, Breakdown switches to a Reinhardt 3-3, and seeing the quad DPS that Breakdown was running, MetaMorphic switches to a Winston 3-3, but seeing they switch to a Winston 3-3, they go back to a Reinhardt. So a lot of confusing bloodlines going on here. As we finally start seeing the skirmish on the point, MetaMorphic find an early capture.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams couldn't really make up their minds on what heroes they wanted to play, but it looks like it worked out in Breakdown's favor for the time being. Not only were they the first to take the point, they're getting most of the frags here. But that being said, the surviving members of MetaMorphic are not giving this up easily.
A lot of that's due to what Noctis was doing, really booping Lucky away, but paying for his hubris, finally starting to get a ground hold here. MarkyMark's back on the Ryan, but might be a little bit too late.
Alright, both Brig ultra out to give their team some survivability. Oh, MarkyMark was able to shatter through the shield. Perfect timing there.
Yeah, the Reinhardt mind game is one of the best counterplays in Overwatch. You really see it. They're fighting for this fight's going to be cleaned up. So a really good capture here by MetaMorphic, but still going to be 50% captured for Breakdown.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too sad if I were Breakdown. They've proven that they're pretty good at pushing in here and managing to retake the point. It looks like they're sticking with the same comp that they had. They only have, they actually don't have that many ults either. MetaMorphic has the ult advantage with 3 ults to 2.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you saw how late that switch was. The Graviton Surge coming out fairly early here. That bomb's in a good spot to find some frags. They will find Dalca on the baby D.Va.
Yeah, MetaMorphic definitely gets the first frag right there and is currently holding pretty well. And they were holding so far forward that they're able to double back to the point and mop up in the end there. So while Breakdown was able to get the first pick of that team fight, they weren't able to sustain through it and actually make it to the point.
Yeah, Luckiebr shield was gone for that grab, and because of that, MarkyMark was able to find another 4-man shatter. I was talking to the teams before this, and I was told that MarkyMark is a hard carry. He frags out. He is Pog champ. So definitely showing it, already finding 10 shatter kills in one map.
Yeah, MarkyMark has definitely been a pleasure to watch on Reinhardt. We saw he's got that mind game down pat. Look at how he blocked that Earth Shatter. He knew it was coming. He wasn't worried. He's going to have his relatively soon. Both support ults up for MetaMorphic. No ults up for Team Breakdown. The Raizen just got his. And immediately popped it.
And that's another, oh my god, that's a 5-man shatter.
Oh, hello, man.
Hello, MarkyMark. Okay.
He's playing chess where everyone else is playing checkers. He's got these mind games down pat.
I mean, he's like a GM Smurf in a plat game here. Absolutely owning. So coming on to 90%, and MetaMorphic Breakdown hasn't been able to touch since that first fight, and they're doing a switch to quad DPS now. They need to find frags soon, but Jaydee dying early, Dogz dying early is not what you want. I don't even know if they're going to be able to touch.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get why they switched, because it certainly wasn't working, but they don't really have a lot of time here. I mean, they're going to have to get something. They're going to have to get it fast. And here it comes. Breakdown is attempting to push in. There's so many ultimates on the other side blocking them from doing so. Jaydee's ultimate is ready to do some zoning. With it overtime. Lucky was able to tag the point to keep it going just a little bit longer, but it's going to take something of a miracle for them to retake this point at this stage.
It would take a Carpe level carry here, and I don't know if we're really going to see it, as Raizen on the Pharah can't touch. So, going to be going first round to MetaMorphic. 2-1 unleashed on tower. And something I really want to highlight. Yes, we've seen MarkyMark popping off. That is obvious. But I want to talk about the Zarya matchup here. So, Dogz on Breakdown has constantly been outclassed, not getting the grabs in time. We went through an entire round, and they switched off at the beginning, so take the first 20 seconds off, and he didn't charge a Graviton Surge at all. They switched over to quad DPS, and he still was only 80% on it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, in general, it felt like MetaMorphic was getting a lot more value out of their ults. I mean, that being said, Breakdown was using DPS ults to great effect, especially on that first point. Remember all of those multi-kills that they would get with single or double ultimates. I think just in general, it looks like Breakdown is more comfortable on DPS classes. And they might need a little bit of work if they want to run things like goats.
Yeah, I mean, having a stellar Reinhardt is going to help make that goats easier. And going into launch Dorado here, we have a sub in. Weasel is coming in for Breakdown.
Oh, exciting. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what Weasel ends up playing. I wonder if they're going to mix their comp up at all, since they're aware that MarkyMark seems to be a very good Reinhardt. I mean, we're yet to see that if he can play other classes just as well, because I believe he mostly just played Reinhardt. Did he play some Hammond in there?
I think he only played Reinhardt, and as we go into Dorado, this is a map, at least for the first point, and sometimes even the second, that you see some DPS compositions. It's rare, but it's not unheard of to see a Widowmaker on the attack, as we see Dogz selecting here. So, gonna be interesting to see if Breakdown can really rely on their DPS preference here.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, not terribly surprising. DPS has absolutely been what's working for them, and if I were in their situation, I'd want to give it a try as well. But there is a lot riding on this DPS getting their job done and getting their job done well. Especially with two snipers, more of a long range, close range mix here. I don't see any mid range classes on their team at the moment, which may be interesting when they are on attack payload.
And MetaMorphic here holding super early, and you see this a lot because Goats makes long fights. So even if you lose this fight, if you can take a minute or two off the clock, you win because you get another contest. And with that Widowmaker, it's exactly what you want. You've been missing that point pressure.
Yeah, that definitely seems like this is working out for them in regards to what comp Breakdown ended up choosing. And here we have the push in. MarkyMark actually went down very, very quickly. And Lucky is actually doing a really good job on Winston getting those frags and giving his team the distance and space they need to capture the payload.
Yeah, and actually winning this, it looks like Lucky might suffer from Sato syndrome, to where he can't play the Reinhardt, but his Winston very stellar. So maybe that's the key that we're missing, as this fight taking very, very one-sidedly for Breakdown.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing Lucky playing more Winston, and if that hero works out better for him, because that was a very decisive first fight victory, I should say. They haven't taken the point yet.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push through the archway, which is key because running to Winston, you don't have a Reinhardt to really push through that choke in. Lucky going to get really aggressive here, probably going to primal as early as he can. Just already coming on 90% to it.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Oh dear.
He's down at 99%. Oh, you hate to see it. Spamming the Q blunt, hoping and praying, and not coming out in time. So now we see MetaMorphic pushing up and finding all of these kills.
Yeah, Lucky's death was the linchpin. That gave MetaMorphic the chance to push in. They're actually pushing in very, very hard. Look at that. They were almost spawn camping for a second there.
Yeah, really want to find all of the kills that you can. And now as we go into this fight's going to be very decisive. If you look on your rosters right now, you see a lot of glowing check marks, and that means that they have their ultimate abilities, their Q abilities. So whoever wins this fight not only wins the fight, but it's going to be up in ultimate economy. So if Breakdown doesn't win this fight, it's going to take them the rest of the time bank to really build all the ultimates required to make a proper push.
Oh my gosh, this is they better win this fight. Look at all these ultimates that they have built up. This is going to be insane. And here we have Lucky pushing in with his Primal Rage, trying to clear some space for his team. No other ultimates going off for pretty much anyone. Gatos did use his rally, and actually, you know, I was expecting a bunch of ultimates from both teams, but other than the Primal Rage, nothing really happened.
Yeah, that was a really anticlimactic fight. I hyped that up, but sometimes it doesn't come to fruition. So now we see Lucky switch over to the Reinhardt, and we've seen that's not his best character. So maybe he can try and... He has to play passive here to really block MarkyMark Shatter, but he has so many resources to help him assist him here, it's going to be hard.
And here we have the push in. There's a bunch of ultimates coming out. Zenyatta's trying to keep his team alive, but that Earth Shatter coming out at just the perfect time to stop any sort of shield. Jaydee getting a triple kill, and MarkyMark finishing him off. That is another failed push for Breakdown. Oh my.
Into a minute, you know, with how long Goats fights can be, they were coming into last fight territory there, but for Breakdown, that was a good fight. You literally only use your Transcendence and your Beat, but you get 3 of their key take ultimates. So now they don't have an engagement tool. You have Graviton, Surge, and Bomb. This is your window right here. You cannot let this grab beat, otherwise it is going to be almost impossible to push through here.
Yeah, and here we have the big moment. Dogz is able to get the Graviton out without it being eaten. And now they're piling on the damage, see if they can finish him off. And they do. Dalca able to get 2 kills. This is going to be their first real opportunity to push through this archway and make it to the point. But MetaMorphic is not making that easy.
Oh my god, the Shatter gets stunned out. Raizen does a perfectly timed shield bash, cancels MarkyMark Shatter, and they're gonna capture this. MarkyMark died way too late in that fight for them to get against Test, so a very, very good job there on Raizen, absolutely winning this point.
Oh, they needed it too. At the 11th hour, managing to break that hold and make it to the second point, get some precious 2.5 more minutes on the clock, so they can keep this going.
And Jaydee trying to touch there, gets in literally almost a frame too late, and ends up losing his life there. Without that Diva, there is now so much more opportunity for Dogz on the Zarya to find another Graviton Surge. So Breakdown's in a really good position here to find the charge that they need to get a good fight here. And if they can win this fight, they might have momentum and a decent time bank to push into C.
Yeah, look how quickly Dogz is building this up. Already at 70% for another grab. And Breakdown able to move the point without anybody stopping it. We have MetaMorphic dropping from the rafters to try and stop them. We have another sludge fight here. Raizen was the first one to go down for Breakdown, and does look like this is going to be another reset for Breakdown.
You say that, but Lucky comes out of nowhere and got the largest MarkyMark, and he has his Earth Shatter available. Without the Reinhardt there to block it, you see them running with the tail in between their legs because they know that would be a team wipe.
Yeah, I spoke too soon. The defense is pulling off, and Breakdown is getting some more precious distance on this point with 90 seconds left on the clock. They have a real shot at taking this point if they just have some ultimates working out. The first ultimate was not too successful with that Earth Shatter, but we do have Zenyatta's and Barriers and Gravitons and a Diva ult coming out. Not to great effect.
Yeah, a 5 ult being popped, only 1 kill coming out on the side of Hugo, but now we see that bomb, not going to find Whitney, but it does give them the space to push up here. But Weasel calling in the background, and this fight's going to go the way of MetaMorphic unless something can change.
Yeah, I feel like we just saw 10 zoning ults, one after the other. Because all it basically did was shuffle everyone's positions around like musical chairs with nobody being eliminated. And I feel like Breakdown's kind of staggering themselves at the moment by juggling these two characters around. Now they have to wait for the respawns.
Yeah, Dalca falling off the map there, so they're going to have time to get sick. It's going to be close. And right now, everyone's even in ults. And the only ult that's going to be up for this fight, guaranteed, is MarkyMark Shatter and Lucky Shatter. And it's going to be hard for Lucky because he has not won this duel once this match. And if he can win it now, it would be absolutely cool. And he does.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely. Managing to finish off just the right person to give his team an opening to push this payload a little bit farther. The defense is pulling back. There's definitely going to be at least one more defense before they make it to the end of this push, but that was once again Breakdown pulling out a rabbit out of their hat right when they needed it. And actually, maybe I overspoke. I'm not sure if MetaMorphic is going to try to block this. Yep, here they come.
Behind him, though. I should be able to contest this here. Now MarkyMark has his Shatter available. So we're going to see what he can find. Actually, only finds one and nothing coming out.
Dogz was protected by the payload. He wasn't hit by that Diva Bomb. And here we have an Earth Shatter out, only hitting the Brigitte. That Zarya didn't hit anything with her ultimate.
She just hates trees, man. And have a ton of surge. The bomb actually zoned them off the point.
That was awesome. Yes, they were able to take the point with a zoning Diva ult. So many zoning ults this time around. And that is a full reset for Metamorph.
An effective zoning ult as we come onto this third fight. And, you know, looking at this ultimate economy, it's very, very even, very, very low. And when it comes to pure mechanical play, we have seen Metamorphic kind of take the edge there, but they might. This is their window right now. Getting aggressive like they always do. MarkyMark coming in. Already has another Shadow up here, but they find Gatos. That is not.
Oh dear, yeah, that is not good. At least they'll have this, because there will at least be one more hold for Metamorphic, and they're going to have a Shatter going into it. But that was another pretty decisive wipe by Breakdown to keep this payload moving. Honestly, I'm very impressed with how far they've managed to get this payload, considering I think Metamorphic has won more fights in general on this map. They just seem to win the ones that matter.
MetaMorphic's been playing super aggressive, and they've been paying for it. Now, again, we see this Shatter battle, and Lucky finally found one with so now, if he can do it back-to-back, then we can fully capture this, but I don't know if he will be able to do it.
Oh, that was perfect. Lucky managed to get through at the perfect time. MarkyMark still has his ultimate. I don't think he's going to get a chance to use it. The defense sent packing again. It's all up to Noctis to try and block this for as long as possible.
Noctis doing a good job of actually hiding it and completely stalling this payload out now. And now, MarkyMark's back. He has a Shatter available. It doesn't find anybody, though.
It did hit Dogz, but Dogz was too far and too healthy and is going to survive it. The defense is going to get one more chance to try and hold this point, but they are able to hold it for just a little bit longer. It's completely overtime here. No more time to lose for Breakdown. It's do or die, now or never. Yet another Earth Shatter coming out. Gatos surviving it somehow, but not for long. It looks like the last of the defense is falling, and there we go. In an overtime capture for Breakdown.
I really love the discipline we're seeing out of Breakdown right now. You know, we saw how aggressive Metamorphic plays, and they paid for it time and time again. Whether it's MarkyMark being charged for trying to push too aggressively in the spawn, or Gatos being charged. So really, what we're seeing is Lucky, playing the discipline factor here, and finding these picks on when Metamorphic pushes too aggressively, but playing aggressive is much more favorable on the offense than it is the defense. So we'll see if they can match Breakdown's pace going into here.
The other really nice thing to see is that a lot of these fights Breakdown is winning. They're doing so with tank ults. I mean, it's popping off on Zarya or Diva or Reinhardt, because when we were looking at the control map, when we were looking at Legion Tower, they were mostly only succeeding when they were playing DPS heroes, but I think they finally hit their stride, and I think they're managing to get goats to work for them, and so we should be seeing them doing more creative things going forward, since I think they've figured out what Metamorphic is doing. They've gotten into their heads.
Yeah, and I kind of called out Dogz there, but he apparently was a warm-up round because he's been putting out so much efficiency on that Zarya. So definitely a good turnaround, and that shows you how much momentum can really affect the team. Once you start winning, you start playing more confident, playing with your team more, and you just start playing overall better. And we see a Roadhog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, there's a Roadhog. I look forward to seeing if Roadhog and Orisa can do some cool things.
Bunker Goats. Okay, they were going for a spawn hook. I see. Yeah, we've seen this a few times on maps like Gibraltar, but never here. Trying to get a cheeky little suck hook combination to get an early kill, going over to the Reinhardt 3-3. So we see a mirror match in that.
That would have been exciting if they were able to pull that off. Actually, it turns out that Breakdown did exactly what MetaMorphic did on the previous map and held this area right here. And we're going to get another early fight, which once again looks like it's going the way of the offense.
Yeah, but MarkyMark falling, this might be the key they need. Although, oh no, that third kill going over, yeah, it looks like it's going to go the way of MetaMorphic.
Yeah, they did a good job finishing off MarkyMark, but it wasn't enough, and now we're going to get a pretty brutal Diva stagger. Dalca probably should have just jumped off the cliff, but it's not going to matter that much. That being said, they're going to just get this archway for free, this archway that Breakdown spent so much time, ultimates, and energy pushing through.
Yeah, and with Dalca being staggered there, it's going to be hard for them to really recontest this because you don't have a Diva to eat that initial ultimate. And
yeah,
they're just not.
Wow, okay. Well, with 5 minutes and 15 seconds, they have significantly more time in their bank than Breakdown did at this stage in the fight. Breakdown, they need to start defending. They are the defending
team.
It,
though. Electing not to choose that fight there, and MarkyMark actually going to get booped into the team, so he's going to fall. And right now, Breakdown finding what they need here, a really early fight win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that worked out for them. They're gonna have to deal with a very quick respawn since they're gonna spawn right there instead of the beginning of the map. But for the time being, the advantage is definitely them in ultimates as well as positioning.
I mean, we see 6 ultimates versus 6 ultimates here, so it's gonna be a very intensive and chaotic fight.
Ooh, starting off with a double shatter, excellent. Only one.
But no follow-up there, and a counter grab into shatter, followed by all of the ultimates here, and so far no kills coming out of 7. 9 ultimates.
This is one of those Goats particle effect parties where all sorts of exciting things are happening, but nobody's actually dying until Raizen is finally finished off by 4 players on MetaMorphic, giving them the opportunity they need to finish off Lucky and start moving this payload again as soon as they finish off a couple stragglers and force a full reset.
Yeah, I mean, Lucky, when he died there, had 6 assist icons on him. That just shows you the good focus of MetaMorphic there. So, pushing into this.
Even more importantly, they've managed to keep 2 of their ultimates. MarkyMark is ready for yet another shatter coming up.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage there, so if MarkyMark can find 1 or 2 kills, as I said, that Weasel gonna find his counterpart in Potion. Now they have to retreat. Without that Discord there to engage, it is basically over.
Yeah, that was a really impactful little kill right there that I don't think either team was expecting. It looked like because they had the advantage going in with MarkyMark and Gatos both having ultimates ready to go. But when you lose your Discord, you're gonna have to pull back and wait, which is exactly what Breakdown needs because they've managed to build up a lot more ultimate charge, and they're probably gonna have a few come online during this next fight.
Yeah, that stall and getting those stagger kills allows like Dalca and Dogz to really find what they need here, and they can get a Graviton Surge Bomb combo off. It could be the key they need.
And there's the first Diva ult, does not manage to get any kills. MarkyMark finally firing off that Earth Shatter to equal in effect. But it does give them the zoning that they need, and it looks like Breakdown is giving them this one. I don't know if they're going to give them the full point, but they are giving them the push.
They don't want to give them the full point, but they might have a choice because of how up MarkyMark is playing. Yeah, they're going to have to let them push this here. So, wow. 4 minutes to hold for point C. It's not unheard of, but it's going to be hard, especially if they don't stop MarkyMark, who's charging into their spawn.
Oh, MarkyMark with a very nice block. Oh Jaydee.
My God.
That was decisive, if there ever was one. Oh my gosh. Poor Dalca.
So, yeah, Dalca being staggered there, and we saw Breakdown use 3 ultimates while MetaMorphic used Diva Bomb and finds 3 by an excellently placed Poco Bomb.
Yeah, I believe that's play of the game at the moment. Though we're gonna have to see. Breakdown has a very good chance to contest here because, like you said, they have 3 ultimates because they didn't end up getting to use that many because of the unexpected triple kill. So they definitely have the ultimate advantage going to this next fight.
Yeah, Weasel falling, so both off supports down here, and it looks like MetaMorphic might have a huge time bank as they take another swift and decisive victory.
Yeah, absolutely. They're pushing up. I believe the defense is going to have time, especially because MarkyMark isn't pushing forward like he did last time, though. Oh, are they going to even be able to get there in time?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, no. Oh, they had ultimates ready to go. Oh, they just weren't able to get there in time. And I don't know if that was their fault. It was just really unfortunate. Because, okay, at the end of that, not the very end, but the team fight right before the end, they had 3 ultimates, and MetaMorph only had 1, I believe, but they didn't use any of them. All 3 people with ultimates just ended up dying and saving them for a second team fight that never came.
Yeah, and so it is a scrim. We're not going to play out this map, but considering how MetaMorphic had 4 minutes, I think it's safe to assume to give them that round on our official standings, bringing us to 1-1 in this series as we move to Eichenwald.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, when we started Dorado, we were talking about how MetaMorphic seems to have get better value out of their ultimates, and I think that held true for Dorado. I think there were a lot of situations where Breakdown could have used their ultimates to better effect than they ended up doing.
See, I misspoke there earlier. It's actually 2-0 in favor of MetaMorphic. I apologize. Now, moving to Eichenwald here. Again, one of those maps where Goats isn't so strict, but still... We're most likely going to see a Reinhardt Goats versus a Winston Goats on the attack and defense, respectively.
Yeah, I think if I were a bookie, I'd give you pretty good odds on that one. And there we go. Yeah, pretty standard. Lucky sticking on Winston, which I think is the right call. Winston's really been working out for him. On that last map, I mean, remember, he busted out Reinhardt to try and see if he could get something to happen there, and that was the first time that they managed to break that Archway chokehold, but he definitely does seem more comfortable in general on Winston.
It's interesting what Breakdown's electing to use here, running a double main support in the Ana and the Mercy. So you're not going to have a defensive ultimate to deal with any grabs. So it's really going to be up to Dogz and to Raizen to find these kills early here. Otherwise, they're going to get stalled at the choke every single time. Yeah, which is pretty par for the course. That doesn't be something that they suffer from on a regular basis, is getting held on these chokes. Something that MetaMorph doesn't really have to worry about because Breakdown keeps giving them the chokes. Just like, here, have it. Yeah, I mean, playing the point here is a very unique decision, and I like it because they're respecting the Pharah, and that is a dirty anti-nade coming on to MarkyMark. He might fall in the middle of his team. Yeah, I don't think they were expecting an Ana on the enemy team, because we haven't seen Ana all that much. So when that anti-nade came out, they were just not ready for it and had to cycle back. Yeah, pushing in here, Pharah putting a lot of pressure on it, and MarkyMark finding a shot are going to demat Dalca here, so finding a take for their troubles as we go into here, and... Yeah, that worked out pretty well, because, I mean, you look at MetaMorph, they've just got a pretty classic Goats comp. They don't have that many long-range classes to deal with a Pharah Mercy, and yet, I believe Zenyatta, of all people, was the one that ended up killing the Pharah, which is indeed the one long-range person on their team. Yeah. Aided in a really good set nade there by Weasel, who threw that from spawn, and they're playing at the same position. Okay, no, they're choosing to play in this house. Now, while this does build up the point, they can't really play that point because if they do, there's no one there to really put pressure on them. So now, if they go into it, they might end up just giving a tick here. Yeah, they do a second tick without contest. Wow, they're giving up so much space basically for free. Oh, Lucky was down to 1 HP, but managed to get out with his life as his team mops up Pharah using that ultimate to finish off both Zarya and Brigitte. And any sort of defense is going to be temporary at this stage. Yeah, there we go. Uncharacteristically from MetaMorphic, right? Playing really passive and basically giving up that point. You really don't want to have to play the point there because it's not a fight that you're going to find kills easily in, but just giving up the point entirely is worse. Now, as we move to second point, it's a lot more wide open, so you can play a bit more spread out. And we see the switch coming on for Breakdown, going to a Winston 3-3, but still having that Mercy.
Yeah, the characters with ultimates were able to hold on to them at least. So we're going to see what happens after this Diva ult comes out. I didn't think anyone was going to die to that. That was so telegraphed. But they have a Mercy to res Weasel right back up and keep this push going.
Yeah. Zenyatta is a very slow monk, so not being able to run away from that, but grab coming out here really early. Actually going to find Raizen through all the reveals.
Lucky was able to pop his Primal Rage just in time to keep from getting whittled down to keep this going. I'm not sure he's getting that much value out of it, but he was at least able to escape with his life, which would not have happened if he'd ulted.
Yeah, and so now Jaydee cleaning up all these kills, actually pushing them into spawn, and you see why he run a Lucio into goats, because Hugo on the Mercy had Valkyrie, didn't want to waste it. Don't have Lucio's speed boost to get out of there, and they get all of the cleanup kills, putting them in a major position in ultimate economy. Going to have 3 really key ultimates as we push into this next fight.
Yeah, and I mean, Weasel might get his ultimate, but otherwise Breakdown is not looking good in pretty much any metric, like positioning, ultimate charge. The advantage is absolutely for Metamorph right now. Where's
Lucky
that deal?
Again, falling first here is now. This is just cleanup. You lose your Zen, your Winston, it's over.
Oh man, and here they come. Metamorph. They want to spawn camp. Oh, they're feeling so aggressive right now, and I don't blame them. They're probably on cloud 9. They just won't. Everything's coming up roses for them.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
no real changes coming out for Breakdown, which is really interesting. They're just going to try to run this again, I suppose.
Yeah.
I really feel like
they the same thing here. You know, MarkyMark is jumping in on top of them. Okay, now they're trying to over-aggress them, getting in the face. The grab coming out, transfer response, and Jaydee eats Dog's grab. That was very bad. It's going to be hard for them to charge up. Both rallies coming out, they're actually stacking on top with the Transcendent. So if MetaMorphic loses this fight, they're going to be in the whole ultimate economy.
Oh, this is so not good. Salt in the wound with that Zarya Graviton being eaten right there. Just nothing's going their way at the moment. Even this Winston ult, they didn't get much value. And the Noctis Lucio ult coming out to keep everybody alive as they once again aggressively push Breakdown back to spawn, running with their tails between their legs.
I mean, it's so hard to break what MetaMorphic's doing here. They are supporting MarkyMark so well, where he can stay in there extra long, whether it's a Diva DM or a Zarya bubble, and he's finding so much value out of that Winston. And now we're actually seeing Raizen switch over to the Pharah just to try and repeat what they did and force them back, but we've seen Weasel's we've seen that Potion's more than capable of dealing with that Pharah, so I don't know if that was the right idea.
This feels like a really tough point to play Pharah. I mean, look at how open it is, and how open and 3-dimensional. I mean, what do you even attack as Pharah?
Yeah, that grab coming out very late. I really don't like it, though. As I said that, they're going to find Gatos. This fight's going to be even. MarkyMark falling very low here. Going to be able to pop a Primal Rage just in time, but with himself, he might be burned down here.
Yeah, his team is pushing in to try and keep him alive. Zarya, Poseidon has an ultimate ready if they need to use it, but I think they're going to hold it for a hypothetical upcoming push. There is 1 minute, so there will still be time for Breakdown to try and push this payload a little bit farther, but nothing's worked so far. I believe, what is this, their 4th comp they've attempted just to push through this S-curve?
Now they switched to a Sombra very late, which is going to be hard to even charge an EMP in that time, but they're going to hack Jaydee, so they might expect the entry. They might.
Oh my gosh, they baited out the Zenyatta ult, because there was one person in that Zarya ult, but Zenyatta didn't need to ult that.
Although Raizen's going to find too with his Pharah barrage, so this could be the entry they need. It looks like all of the kills are actually going the way of Breakdown here, so
wow.
It took them 5 minutes, but they're finally starting to get some momentum on the point B here.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty impressive push if they're going to hope to make second point, especially with the bridge coming up. But they are going to get that chance, which they were so close to not even getting. I'll bet they are very relieved at how far they've managed to push the payload in overtime, as opposed to getting stuck at that S bend.
This is a lot closer than it seems, though, because Dogz is going to be able to get this EMP very fast here. As I said that, he's waiting for the entire team to rotate. Now there's Lucio shows around the burn through, so I might have spoken too soon. Weasel falling there earlier as MarkyMark playing so aggressively, actually splits out the team off. This team bomb doesn't find thing, it's going to be over.
Potion finishing off Sombra, Dogz, and then ulting just to keep the rest of his team alive. That was a very impressive play by him, and at this point, Breakdown is just, yeah, stalling for time.
Yeah, I mean, Dogz waited way too long to actually like start farming EMP charge. And when he did, the entire team pushed up, and Noctis uses Lucio beat, and you can't charge ult charge through that. So by the time he does get it, Dogz end up dying. And again, as a reminder, it is a scrim. So because Breakdown failed to fully capture Eichenwald, we're going to be switching sides here. So MetaMorphic has their opportunity too. So Breakdown's now in the blue, MetaMorphic's now in the red as we go to their attacking side.
Yep. MetaMorphic will be getting the chance to push as far through this map as they can, but all they have to do in our unofficial scorekeeping is make it to this bridge, and if they do that, we'll be giving them the map in our completely unofficial record-keeping books. I feel like what happened on a number of levels were that Breakdown would try to switch characters, but they'd switch too late, and there wasn't enough time to get maximum value out of them. I mean, they barely used that Pharah ult to good effect. And then there was the Sombra that you were talking about.
I mean, it was super late switches, so it was hard to get those ultimates, but as we go into point A, we saw that Breakdown was really effective here with this Pharah composition, and running it on defense, while might not seem like the greatest idea, when you realize that they don't have to worry about the point as much, kind of gives them an advantage. So if they can recreate the overwhelming success they had with this comp on point A, they might be in a good position here.
Dogz is hiding behind enemy lines, trying to scout out, see what sort of heroes MetaMorphic is going to be using in their upcoming push. Maybe try to get a hack.
Yeah, Gatos on that Widowmaker and spawn to try and find Raizen. Not going to see what he wants, so switching back, we see a Winston 3-3 and running that Mora just to have some more burst healing for this Pharah, and Jaydee getting hacked very early here, so it's a fairly even fight pushing in right now.
Yeah, fairly even, but again, I've noticed that Breakdown is a lot more passive than MetaMorphic. MetaMorphic, like, their default stance is to push, whereas Breakdown feels like they need a green light to let them know that it's okay to do so. And so, I mean, we do have them finally reaching the point, so maybe I'm being too harsh, because they are already on the point with 3 minutes still on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, Raizen died fairly early there, and when your main damage dealer is gone, it's, believe it or not, it's hard to do damage.
Yeah. And here we go, 5 minutes and 23 seconds to push into second, and let's see if they get stuck to the degree that Breakdown did on this road.
It was a lightning fast capture, and we do see that Dogz, he does not have his EMP yet. I remember Poseidon was on the Sombra, already having his fairly early here. MarkyMark getting low, gonna be healed back up as we finally see some aggression coming out of Breakdown, but it might be too late.
Yeah, and we do have Dogz with the opening ultimate, trying to combo with Raizen to some success. They managed to finish off both Jaydee and Jaydee's mech. So
just take this capture, going into point C with 4.5 minutes.
Wow, there we go. Yes, and that's what they needed to do, right? We were going to see if they could push the payload farther than their opponents, and they absolutely did. So now they're going to take the map. We're going to see if they can take it to point 3.
Dalca being demegged there, it's going to be very bad. You won't have a debuff for these first fights, and electing not to go back to spawn and trying to keep his ultimate charge here, so going to try to build a mech as fast as he can, but it's going to be a rough task.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be tough. They're going to have the advantage pushing into this next point. And we see that they are... MetaMorph is definitely pushing in. They're doing a really good job of it.
Hugo falling earlier is not what you want. Without the speed boost, Jaydee going to find Chu, and it's absolute cleanup here. I mean, at the point MetaMorphic's playing Janitor Simulator, the amount of mobbing they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. They're absolutely going to push all the way to the end for sure here.
They're going to get EMP'd out of spawn here. I don't know how they're going to even try and contest this. And they won't. 4 minutes in the time bank.
Wow. Yeah, that's harsh. So they took that map decisively, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
what is there to say at this point? MetaMorphic is just playing so many things better than their opponent at this point. And both teams are doing good, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Breakdown is performing poorly. It just feels like MetaMorphic has their number.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is MetaMorphic really working much better as a team. They're constantly supporting MarkyMark and his aggressive behaviors, and the only time that Breakdown's been able to catch a break to start getting momentum It's when they can actually punish that. And that's a lot easier to do on a payload map versus on a map like Dorado, where there's really long sight lines and these fights are going to be super drawn out and expanded. But on Eichenwald, you can play spread out. You can play like these more pincerous positions, and MetaMorphic just outclassing Breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna see, because I mean, you know, when one map doesn't work, try something new, and that is one thing that I'll give Breakdown credit for. They are constantly trying new things, and they're like, if this doesn't work, we'll switch heroes. They are more than happy to try something else. I mean, remember even at the very beginning of this first map of Lijiang Tower, MetaMorphic just tried the same thing over and over again. Breakdown has proven to be far more flexible, so I'm interested to see if they change things up. And let's see what they ended up using here.
Yeah, so coming with a Hanamura and interesting composition for MetaMorphic on attack. Looks like a bunker. They might be trying to do another one of those like from spawn suck combination, find an early pick. Yet on the defense we see a Raizen on his hero, the Pharah. So hopefully trying to find more use out of that than what he did on Eichenwald.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be interested to see how they end with it. They do love their Pharah Mercy combo though, and it is always a joy to watch.
Yeah, pushing on here, and they're still in spawn as Dogz is pushing in, and Dalca's not moving. We might have an AFK player as yep.
Yes, okay. So we're gonna give that another go. Totally fair. Yeah. But assuming they keep these combos, it looks like, yeah, we got classic goats on one side, and then we've got a bit more of a DPS mix. Actually, that is a 2-2 if I'm not mistaken. So that's always cool.
It looks like Dalca has disconnected here, as we're gonna do a quick little reset and wait for him to come in.
Okay, makes sense. I'm assuming we're gonna see the same heroes.
Yeah, most likely going to see the same character. So that Sombra Pharah defense out of Breakdown, and the 2-2-2 attack classic old school from MetaMorphic.
Did MetaMorphic get a chance to see Breakdown's comp? Like, were they able to get a glimpse of what the defenders were playing?
Yes, they were running a Sombra on attack. That might have been purely for scouting purposes, but they were able to see everything except for Dalca. But D.Va is the most played character in the game, so yeah, guessing they're gonna have a D.Va is fairly easy.
Yeah, totally true. So and with that being said, I do think that they are probably just gonna end up running the same comps, and yeah, that looks pretty familiar. Looking at what everybody's decided to play, unless Poseidon does something really unusual. I wonder if MarkyMark is gonna stay on Raizen.
Yeah, again, I think they're just gonna go for a Orisa pool plus the Roadhog hook, try and find an early pick, and then switch over to dive characters as we see a Widowmaker coming out from Gatos. No, McCree, I spoke too soon.
You are right. Yeah, I'll be interested to see with the Orisa. No, Poseidon is going Sombra, so they may actually be committing to MarkyMark on Orisa.
We'll see here as they walk out of spawn. They don't find the hook that they need and going to be over to a Reinhardt D.Va composition. You don't see this too often because normally there's always a Zarya paired with him, but it looks like Poseidon's just scouting and probably going to switch back. Oh, maybe that going to actual dive with okay.
Maybe they realize there's no Zarya on either team.
Yeah, I mean Sombra goats with dive, not the most typical composition, but we'll see if it works here, as having a hard time to push in as Lucky is really holding here. Managed to actually get some progress on the points. Poseidon gets uncloaks now, and they control the point.
Where's the defense?
It's going to be so hard to push into here. You don't have the tank power necessary to really contest this, so try and just deny it, but it's going to be hard for them to find any real entry.
Yeah, no, this is going to be difficult to get them off of this point. Raizen has been hacked. The defense is not down and out for the count, but they're just giving away capture time here unless something really crazy happens, and soon.
Yeah, potion falling is really not what you want. The majority of healing's gone.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, they're gonna give this up. This point is going the way of MetaMorphic for sure.
Yeah, and fairly hefty time bank, only with 6.5 minutes, in a position to actually get a double cap too. They're gonna have 6 ultimates, so unless Dogz can charge this EMP and use it early, this could spell disaster for Breakdown.
Yeah, MetaMorphic not wasting time as they want to do. Weasel did a very good job hiding from that upcoming Sombra ult.
EMP coming out from Poseidon himself now. Counter was coming out, but Jaydee finds 2.
How does Jaydee keep doing that? Oh, that's insane. This is exactly what they need. But Dalca trying to repeat the feat to no avail.
Not gonna find what he needs. His Dogz alone. Sombra gonna have to contest this now. We see Weasel switching over to the Doomfist, but gonna be melted down instantly. They're gonna stagger on here one by one, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to find any real foothold.
Yeah, this is just this is straight stagger. Oh, but hey, if somebody's gonna stagger, it's gonna be ulting Winston. This is the perfect opportunity for something from Lucky. And I suppose
he was hacked though.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Not even really having any real movement. Doing a decent job though, that they managed to stall for a good amount of time, and now we see there's actually a decent bit of people on here. Raizen does have this barrage, and he's gonna find 2 with it, but I don't know if that's gonna do what they need. The Weasel coming back, another EMP, gonna absolutely deny this force though.
Poseidon is just farming ultimates. That was insane. Like, there was somebody hacked at any given moment, pretty much every second of that fight. Excellent job from the offense there. And you're right. Excellent job from the defense as well. Given what they had to work with, they were able to keep that going for a very long time. But 5 minutes and 19 seconds is still a very impressive time bank to have to beat.
Yeah, I mean, you see these crazy long time banks in the 3-3 because of how ultimates work. You know, you win a decisive point A. You have ultimates. They don't have any ultimates. You get on there early, and you can do that. You know that is a very, very nice time bank there for MetaMorphic. And now we've seen Breakdown to prefer the attack. You know, they like running these wacky compositions with the Pharaoh and with the Sombra, and the natural synergy is gonna be more effective on attack. So it's up to them to try and replicate this blazing success.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what Breakdown tries, mostly because they love trying new things. So we're gonna see if they're going. It looks like they... Yeah, see, here we go. They've got a Pharah, they've got a Widowmaker, and an Ana. Interesting. No Mercy to combo with the Pharah.
We might see Hugo like stand at the door, use Lucio speed amp, just give them that little boost, and then switch to a Mercy.
Yeah, they've done that. I think they've done that on 2 maps now, so that is almost certainly what they're going to do. And the defense, going for pretty classic goats. I don't blame them. It's been working. Like, I wouldn't change the formula up if I were MetaMorphic on defense.
And running this Ryan 3-3 here is going to give them such a major advantage on the point that it wouldn't surprise me if they see what they're running, they instantly just fall back to the point, because your entry is Lucky. And a lone Winston, even with the Mercy pocket, it was out of pocket, it's not going to do much. In another pause, so...
It appears to be Raizen. I'm spectating Hugo right now, and Raizen is just standing there at the spawn point.
Yeah, some internet issues. It happens in scrims. So
yeah, I'm honestly wondering if it's the server at this point, because I was having some connection issues at this random point in the middle of Eichenwald, and that's 3 different people having connection issues.
And we're right back into it, so we're not going to waste much time as we push in here. And I'm really excited to see Dogz on this Widowmaker. Hard to find the value, but because Potion's running that Ana, he does have someone who he can look for and hunt down.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that as well. I'm excited to see double one Ana on both teams, because we saw one Ana on Eichenwald, and she had some really important anti-nades to free up some space for her team.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see a couple weeks ago the Paris Eternal do a sick set and a nade onto the Florida Mayhem to break a bunker comp. So I doubt we see anything that incredible, but Ana has always been a stable pick on Hana more, especially on point B, because she can just find so much value across everywhere.
Yeah, Hugo didn't really get to use that Lucio ult, that Lucio boost like he was hoping to, and I think that Breakdown needs a couple of seconds to reconnoiter and figure out what they're going to do now that all of their players are back. And so I hope it doesn't come down to the 30 seconds they lost getting prepared.
Yeah, I think they were expecting MetaMorphic to run a bunker comp, so having to switch to the Raizen 3 late actually going to give them a lot of trouble, as they lose 3 people just trying to contest the choke.
Yeah, that's not good, and MetaMorphic will punish that, and they see the Diva up there. I don't know if they're going to bother to go for her, just let her escape in peace.
Yeah. Dalca escaping with a very small slither of health. Now, as we push in here, having time to actually coordinate themselves, get everything together. And MarkyMark has a shatter, so that's going to be their key fight here. Try and find the shatter. He's been very good at it. It's likely he's going to be able to replicate some success.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, a perfect shatter, hitting everybody. It didn't hit the Reinhardt, but it didn't matter. He was able to get everybody else and clear up space for his team for a quintuple kill. Wow.
Yep. You find 4 people on the ground, and it's very easy to clean that up. And now we go 2.5 minutes here, almost half the time already gone, and Breakdown has been able to even go past the choke. Just absolute dominant, aggressive play coming out from MetaMorphic here.
Looks like they're just going to keep trying the same thing. Weasel almost going down, but managing to stay up. That would have cost them another giant chunk of time waiting for him to respawn.
And Gatos using this rally is going to make it even harder to push into here. Lucky does find one on his shatter, but there is no follow-up. So now the rally finally starts to dissipate.
Yeah, that does leave a bunch of armored characters. Oh dear, here comes the Zarya ultimate.
Dirty bomb. Gonna find 2 and a mech.
Yeah, Weasel had his ultimate ready to try and block that, but you can't block a Diva ult when you're Zenyatta, so...
I mean, if you're Breakdown here, what do you do? I mean, you see excellent Goats play here. They're running these combos so very well. MarkyMark has a shatter. Get the shatter, they build Grav Bomb. They use Grav Bomb. MarkyMark the shatter, and the endless cycle repeats. And I don't know what. Even if they manage to find some momentum, Potion has the nano to keep them up. And if they manage to get group momentum, Noctis has the beat to drop it down and take them all up. So it's gonna take a miracle to break down.
Yeah, nothing's really working for them. To be fair, they're not trying new things. They just keep playing the same 6 characters. It's the right 6 characters. But I mean, at this point, I want to see Pharah. I want to see some DPS. That's the Breakdown's like specialty. They're so good at those DPS classes. Oh, hey, there we go. Finally pushing through, managed to get some time on the point with 50 seconds left. Map's not over that quickly. That was a very impressive flip on their part. I thought that MetaMorphic was looking quite nice until they weren't.
Yeah, they actually push way too far up, and that allows Lucky to find a shatter that he needs. Gives them 2 kills, take out 2 of the Goats composition. They finally get some momentum on the point A, and actually in a good position to possibly get a double cap, as they're going to have the Graviton Surge Bomb combination without any key defensive ultimate to really stop them.
Yeah, no, they've got some sweeping potential here with their 3 ultimates. In Gatos is the only person on the other team, and he just cast his. An interesting point for a team fight down here in the basement. Oh, did you see how Reinhardt and Diva timed that to get all those kills? That was amazing.
Yeah, that was really good there. Noctis actually managed to boot everyone down, but the entire team decides to rotate, and again, knowing how aggressive MetaMorphic plays, they join them, and they're like, okay, we'll fight here. Grab bomb combo, 3 kills off the start, and now staggering on here. The grab and the shadow coming out, but there's no kills, and that's a perfectly timed trance by Weasel to keep everyone up.
Yeah, I suspect Doomfist is only going to last a few seconds, but that actually was long enough for the respawns to come out. So this fight is not over yet, and somehow Jaydee managing to fish a kill out of that. Which means that they're
booped Hugo into that line of sight. All the kills still going. That shatter not going to find what it needs, but it won't even matter. There's only 2 people alive in the first place.
Oh, but here we go. There's only a few defenders left to try and keep this point happening, but they are out. MarkyMark is back, dealing some damage. No ultimates ready for either team, so this is down to raw skill and regular attacks. Baptiste keeping the point delayed. MetaMorphic is doing a really good job delaying this capture with like 1 or 2 defenders at any given second.
Yeah, managing to get on there 1 at a time to really get the proper stall. And now MarkyMark has a shatter, but being knocked down, he might not be able to use it.
He used it.
Gonna shatter at the bottom, but a Lucio beat from downtown gonna help that. So finally, after a minute and a half of amazing stall, Breakdown managed to fully capture it with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, that was some very good stalling right there, and I mean that map ended with MetaMorphic having almost double the time in the bank. And to be fair, a lot of the time they missed, well, like I'd say because they lost 30 seconds to server issues. So even if we add that time back on, that still only gives Breakdown 3 minutes left in the bank as opposed to MetaMorphic's 5. But I don't know if it's fair to even count that map at all due to the server issues on one of the teams.
Well, besides looking at the score line, how the time was, look at how those fights go. Breakdown only got point A because MetaMorphic's hubris. They push too up, they push too far up, and they get punished for it. Finally. Without that, Breakdown didn't even get through the choke until MetaMorphic made the mistake. So as we go into Gibraltar now, this is a map that can favor DPS compositions on its early stages. I hope Breakdown can really find some success that they need, because they've been struggling to find any kind of value in these opening minutes.
Yeah, on previous maps, I commended Breakdown for their willingness to try new things, and yet on that last map, they pretty much just tried the same 6 heroes over and over again, and I guess you are right, it did eventually work, though it was largely due to MetaMorphic's error, and this time they are deciding to go with a Mercy and a Widowmaker, so that's kind of cool. And I believe Widowmaker is pretty common for defense on First Point Gibraltar, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and now MetaMorphic again trying to do the Graviton Surge hook combination, and this is where it's most common on this map, because sometimes teams will hold on that bridge area. Not gonna find any success because no one's holding there, so
they just keep trying it.
Yeah.
I want to see it work. I'm hoping that at least once they actually manage to hook somebody with that. Though Breakdown is playing very far back. Maybe they see it coming.
Yeah, I mean, you know what they say, if it doesn't work the first 12 times, eventually it has to, maybe. So we see 2 dive goat compositions here, but Hugo running to Mercy to try and help Dogz. So interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Breakdown is giving up so much payload push. I mean, usually this archway is a really good holding point, and yet they're getting it basically for free. I mean, Lucky is finally pushed in, but jumped right back out, and they actually managed to push the payload almost to the end. I don't think it's been stopped for more than a second.
Yeah, Marky jumped in there to try and find Dogz with good support. They actually managed to turn that back against him. But even though they're able to turn it back, all those kills still fall the way. And they're going to cap just having 5.5 minutes in time bank going into point B. And I don't know if this Widowmaker by Breakdown has been the most successful thing. And I hope we see Dogz go back to spawn and switch. No, he starts pushing in again. So maybe he can find more value coming on to point B here.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a chance, to be fair. The offensive team has been playing very aggressively, and he's had somebody dive bombing him at any given instant. He has the visor on, so he can see through walls at the moment, but he's not really in a position to make much use of it. And once again, nobody's really stopping that payload. I am very surprised at how far it's gotten, with Breakdown not even touching it.
Well, when you don't have a D.Va, when you don't have a Zarya, you don't really have any DPS pressure to contest the payload, so they can just play aggressive here. And now MarkyMark using the Primal Rage just to boot people around, taking literally so much space. Finally, they find kills. Dogz.
Yeah, finally things are coming up for them. They do have the ultimate. I guess they don't have the ultimate advantage. They kind of. Both teams are pretty balanced, I guess, to be fair. Mostly due to restraint on MetaMorphic's part. They had a couple people die and save their ults for an upcoming push.
I mean, Dogz has just been being bullied this entire map, and if they finally lay off of him, he does find the value that he needs. So now, we'll see if if Breakdown can pressure that point a bit more to draw them off of Dogz and let Dogz do his thing, because when he has the chance to click heads, he very much did.
Yeah, and I'm mostly interested in Poseidon right now, because there's no D.Va, so Poseidon's going to be able to drop this whenever he feels like. Oh no, there is a D.Va now. Never mind. Yeah, so here we go. The push is coming out. A bunch of ultimates for both teams. No one's really using them. Dogz getting...
Yeah, managing to find MarkyMark with the Venom Mine. Now this fight's going underway, and Lucky doing so much. I mean, that's just best of grab onto him alone. And the Transcendence coming out just to keep him alive. So now Lucky back in the corner, being able to find so much value at the Primal Rage, and managed to force the beat out of Noctis.
Yeah, which was good timing, because he managed to keep both the Brigitte and the Zenyatta alive, or the Zarya, and they are going to have another push off of this. This one a little bit more successful. Poseidon finishing off Raizen. Jaydee is locking out this little doorway to stop Widowmaker from doing any sniping, and they are going to be able to take the next point. It was a little bit tougher for them than the first point, but it wasn't particularly tough. And they have a whole 4.5 minutes to push this final point.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if this Widowmaker was the right choice. Dogz finding decent value, but without that Zarya there to contest the cart, even if they technically win a fight in kills, with the amount of cart being pushed, it really doesn't matter. So now, still deciding to elect on this Widowmaker. Hopefully Dogz can find more kills. Again, it's really not because Dogz is failing to do so, it's that we see MetaMorphic putting so much pressure on him. Is MarkyMark actually going to invest in Primal Rage just to keep moving him around?
Yeah, and here we have another. Widowmaker's trying to do her thing. She can't because Primal Winstons are diving her. And here comes the rest of his team. The payload is pushing in. Zarya pushing an ult. Weasel using his Zenyatta ultimate to try to keep his team alive, not succeeding at that. And he and an
insane focus there. They managed to burn through 3 people in a trance with just a Winston and a D.Va, and without the trance, they're managing to do it even faster, as Doggo needs to find a miracle bomb here if they want to get any kind of success.
Yeah, Lucky's trying to get something done on point, but was not able to pull that off, and the defense is still here, and there are still people contesting the point, but not for particularly long. We have a Lucio and a Hammond doing their best to keep this payload from pushing forward, but as soon as Weasel falls, and as soon as Lucky, and as soon as Dogz, okay, fine, they are still contesting. I spoke too soon.
Managing to stagger on here just a little bit, but all of the kills coming out, and now Marky just body blocking the point with the Primal Rage Winston. So 3 minutes in time bank. That is abnormal, to say the least. A very, very lightning quick round, as we've seen constantly coming out of MetaMorphic here. Their aggressive style paying off tenfold.
I just think that Breakdown needs to contest the point a little bit more. I feel like the point was getting, like, the payload was just pushing for free a bunch of times. Like on a lot of these, both teams were fighting each other. You had skirmishes here and skirmishes there and skirmishes up top, and then somebody was just sitting on payload pushing, and nobody was stopping them.
Yeah, I mean, putting so many resources into Dogz, and, you know, MetaMorphic realized that, and they put all of the resources into countering Dogz, and they just kind of sit someone on the cart, so, you know, they just make these long, drawn-out fights, and they might eventually win them, they might eventually not, but it doesn't matter because they've already pushed through half of the point, and going into another pause, we seem to have some server issues today.
Yeah, oh well. I'm interested to see if MetaMorphic ends up running a Widow on their defense. I'm suspecting they won't. They've run Goats every single time. I don't see why they wouldn't run Goats. It's working. But that being said, this is Gibraltar first point defense. Very common to have a Widow there. But for the most part, I'm trying to think, how many DPS heroes in general have we seen on MetaMorphic? They've had a Sombra once or twice.
I mean, yeah, we've seen MetaMorphic actually come out with Breakdown's composition, you know, running the Pharah, running the Sombra, and finding a lot more success out from it. So, yeah, it's really a toss-up as to what we see coming in here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they end up playing. And that goes double for Breakdown because the pressure is on Breakdown right now. They need to make something happen. MetaMorphic. So the teams felt relatively even though you look at the scoreboard, it's 4-0. MetaMorphic has taken all 4 points, but that doesn't really show how close some of these early matches were. And yeah, so I feel like if Breakdown can just figure out something, they definitely still have a chance here.
Here's the key thing, you know, I mean, Breakdown has been doing a fine job. They've managed to fully capture every single point, managing to take a point on Lijiang Tower. These games have been close, but we've just seen MetaMorphic having a lot more mechanical skill with them and abusing it to an absurd degree of efficiency. And now, again, in classic style, holding really aggressively, they're going to try and jump on top of them at this point.
Oh, and I wonder if they know the reception they have waiting for them in that room. And here we go. No time wasted. And here we have the defense is cycling down to block the point immediately. No free capture time this time around. Though they are going to be punished for that. Dalca managing to finish off MarkyMark with a melee kill. Lucky following up, finishing off Poseidon. And this payload should be moving relatively soon.
Yeah, Lucky showing us how good he is on this Winston, finding all of these kills. So after a good amount of time, you know, 30 seconds for an early fight, pretty good. As Breakdown gets some progress here, they might actually be able to match this efficiency, as MarkyMark playing really up with no one here. If he gets spotted out, this could be a dangerous position.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he plans on doing, because as much as I keep saying people need to block the payload, a lone Winston in this particular situation probably shouldn't do that. But he is going to circle around, give it his best shot, let his team push in there with one of those shields. We actually have our first ult of the round. We have a Diva ult that pretty much didn't do anything. And the defense is actually is holding, and they're staying on the payload. They're not making this easy. Both teams are actually doing a really good job staying on the payload this particular round. Ulting Winston, pushing in, trying to finish off Hugo.
Yeah, MarkyMark very close to that Primal Rage at a sliver of health, and he might not even want to invest it, as we see 4 kills go the way of Breakdown here. So 5 minutes on the clock, and they're matching their time. Then I want to see them get aggressive. Go up to these spawn doors. Don't let these kills go out for free, and that's exactly what I think they're doing. Yep, Lucky pushing in, holding on top of this ship, going to try and jump on the first character they see.
Yeah, this is the moment of truth for Breakdown, because MetaMorphic had a really fast first and a really fast third. It was second where they were held, so if Breakdown can take second quickly, they could take this map by having a better time bank ultimately. But MetaMorphic
shutting that idea down very quickly, finding Dogz and Hyson very instantly.
Oh man, MetaMorphic is so aggressive. I mean, 1 second you're just chilling on the payload, relaxing, and then suddenly the entire team's falling. I'm getting flashbacks to Bone Tomahawk. Here we go, MarkyMark staying on the second floor, trying to keep Dalca from getting to look into the room for free. Dalca is gonna have ultimate for this next push. Oh my gosh, look at the ultimates.
Yeah, that is 5 very, very bright check marks versus 1 coming up to close to 3, but it's not. Might not get them as time. This fight's fully underway, and MarkyMark getting so much cleave damage.
And there goes the ultimate for Poseidon pushing in. Zenyatta's gonna try and block it, and this time, last time they just burnt through the Zenyatta. This time he was able to keep his team alive.
And Jaydee actually managed to eat Dogz grab. That's not what you want to see. Bomb being infested anyway, and not managed to find what it wants, as all of these kills go the way of MetaMorphic.
That's the second grav Jaydee's eaten this map, isn't it? Didn't he eat a grav on the last one?
Yeah.
Or no, it was at the end of Hanamura. Or it was at some point. I can't remember. But this isn't his first grav that he's eaten. He's doing a very good job sleuthing out what the Zarya plans to drop.
So now, as we push in here, I don't know what Breakdown, what they really want to do. Trying to push the high ground here, they might be diving on top of the ship, but MarkyMark cutting them off as this lone Winston, and now he's gonna Primal in this small room. He actually forced out the beat. MarkyMark's out, he's done his job. You forced out a defensive ultimate, and now your grab becomes so much easier.
Yeah, that was terrifying. I would be terrified if I were locked in a room with an ulting Winston, and he's circling around the bottom. That being said, they did not give up ground. Breakdown stayed in this little room. They kept all 6 of them alive. Now, if they could just push forward off of this, though their team is very split up at the moment. Look how far away Brigitte is compared to the rest of the team.
Poseidon actually the first one to fall, so that grab has now been negated, and they still safe investing trance now. They need to find more kills, because without this, if Poseidon can get back, it's going to be over.
And here comes the Zarya ult, grabbing a bunch of members of MetaMorphic, but not killing any of them due to Potion's Transcendence. This defense is still very strong. Both teams struggling so hard to take second point. Here comes another raging Winston. Lucky pushing in with an ultimate, mostly zoning. I'm not seeing him even hitting anyone that much. Oh, we got King Kong's fighting here on the point, double ulting Winston. Weasel trying to get out with his life and failing. And wow, look at how far ahead MarkyMark is pushed.
Yeah, Poseidon comes out with that grab and will wipe the team up. So, yeah, Breakdown, I don't know if they need to be more aggressive, they need to find more focus in their team, but just they're really not finding these kills in situations where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what they need to do is practice goats. This happens every time they run goats. They need to get better at goats, in my personal opinion.
And that's what they're here to do in the scrim. You know. And MarkyMark might pay for this Huber, so he's gonna find the break armor pack, and so it's hard with how aggressive MarkyMark is. He's really destroying their backline now.
Yeah, but I mean, that being said, they should have the options right now. They have 3 ultimates. Jaydee is the only one with ultimate on MetaMorphic's side, though a bunch of ultimates are about to come online.
Yeah, Poseidon again the first one to fall, so that is that window with that main damage gone from the Ghost composition now. MarkyMark playing really aggressive, and a grab going to be sold out into Noctis, so this bomb it may be able to find what it needs to. It's gonna find Noctis, who peeked out way too early.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's what happens when Lucio is stuck in a graviton. There's nowhere for him to go. And so this is the best chance Breakdown's had in a while. They've managed to finish off Potion, but there's still so many defenders on the point right now to try and keep them from going. Only 25 seconds left on the clock, but they have a bunch of people on the payload. They're pushing. No one's really contesting them. I think we're gonna get another last-minute point unless Jaydee is able to keep this contest going for another 11 seconds.
Poseidon does have the Graviton Surge, and they might choose to invest. They do. They find enough people, but I don't know if the follow-up's really in there. Oh my god, they find two. If they manage to hold this, MarkyMark switching over. They're having to use Trench to try and touch.
No! There were people there! Oh.
Noctis managed to boop Dalca away. So good, Lucio boop there as we go to the 5th win here for MetaMorphic. And I don't know if we're going to call this GG's or if we're going to go to the next round. We're going to go to another map, but just such clean play out of MetaMorphic. It's not,
I mean, that was so gutsy at the end. They're saying, no, we're not giving them second. Because we both thought for a second there they were going to do that. But they said, no, you know what? We're pushing in. We're not giving us to them. There's only 3 of us contesting the point. That's enough.
I mean, there's only so many ways to say that MetaMorphic plays so aggressive and just they pump so much into MarkyMark just to allow him to basically destroy all of that backline. We head to Oasis now, so probably going to end up being the last map in this series, and we've seen that Meta Breakdown has found success in control maps earlier in this series, as you can run those more wacky compositions that they seem to favor. So now let's see if, as a consolation prize for this scrim, they can take this 6th map.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see another control map, because the control map was probably the closest of all the maps that we've seen so far. And MarkyMark just disconnected. We'll be seeing if he's coming back. But either way, Lijiang Tower was the closest map, far and away. Both teams took a point, and then the 3rd point went down to overtime. And I think this really favors Breakdown's love of DPS classes. But that being said, unless we're getting a bunch of substitutes.
Yeah, so Weasel left the game, and then Spec. Yeah, so maybe there are some server issues now, as Null seems to be coming in.
Both teams might just be trying to play their spectators and want to give their substitutes some playtime.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of server issues today, as that's the 4th tactical pause we've had right now. So as this starts to develop, looking at the compositions we have roughly here, and we see tracers on both sides. So
that's always fun.
Might see the staple character of Overwatch, the poster child of the owl. But we'll have to wait until this pause to end.
I want to see if Raizen sticks on Hanzo. I'm sorry, Raizen sticks on Hanzo. I love seeing Hanzos with zoning ults.
Yeah, Dragon is one of those ultimates where 9 out of 10 times it's just gonna be there to be a scary little wall, but then there's that one time where it just destroys everything. And can update, MarkyMark's power seems to have gone out. So
no, that's really sad. That's the worst. I've never had a power out myself, but I was on a train once. It was an electric train, and the power went out. It was really scary.
Yeah, electric train without the power, not the best, and because of MarkyMark's power outage, we're gonna call it there. So that is GG's as we go 5-0 for MetaMorphic. But don't be too disheartened if you Breakdown. You took a very competitive series there. And honestly, MarkyMark, just an outstanding play. Normally I ask you who the player of the match would be, but there's not even a question at this point.
No, it would absolutely be MarkyMark. He set the tone of every engagement he was involved in. He definitely lived up to the role of a main tank in that particular fight. He was a blast to watch. And honestly, both teams did a very good job. Like we said, I just think that MetaMorphic has a little bit more versatility under their belt. They can play more comps comfortably to the degree where if something weird happens, they can roll with the punches and swap things up.
All right, so with that, this scrim is now over, and if you don't have any other closing words for us, I think we're out.
No, that's all. Thank you again, as always, Setka, for casting this with me. Thanks everyone for watching, and we look forward to scrimming other games coming up. Good night, everybody.